So I had what I thought was a really cool idea for a video where I take cheap water guns and turn them into some epic weapons that I can eviscerate my children with. The only problem is the only water guns I could find already look kind of epic. These are the jankiest I could find, and they still look like they could deal some hefty damage. This is nothing like the water guns I grew up with. All the Super Soakers I used to know were like really dorky, and you had those big canisters that you'd fill and you'd just screw in. This is like next level bull. It just means I need to really over-accentuate how badass these are gonna be. Also, in case you haven't heard, the Black Friday deal is still running for the Customize It kit. For a limited time, you can get $40 off of the Customize It kit. And for that $75, you can get over $200 worth of epic art supplies, activities, and gifts, all part of this epic customization bundle, which you'll see me using later in this video to amp up the epic on these guns. These guns specifically, not these guns! Can you like make them like huge in post-production? These guns! They're already epic enough. Now, yes, I am going to eviscerate my children with water guns, but I am going to make one for them each. I'm just going to get to use the big one. Now, the first gun I'm going to make is going to be for my son, MJ, who is absolutely obsessed with all things games. From Mario to Friday Night Funkin' to Sonic, Minecraft, and Fortnite. He has a real love for, well, okay, most of the things 10-year-old boys love. So I want to try and amp his gun up by giving it a real big scope on top. Trying to make it practical with these clear container tops that have a little dimple in the middle will give him a way to align and aim at his opponents. At the end of the day, making stuff look cool isn't about explaining what it all serves a function of, it's just about making it look cool. And in this case, I feel like I've certainly added enough to make it look like a much higher level gun than it originally was, especially after a paint job. I'm going to give this one a nice fiery red primer as a base, the color of some of his favorite game characters, in particular, of course, Mario, and the overalls he always loves to wear everywhere. This is the foundation of my first water gun. I'm pretty chuffed with how this turned out. I do feel like I've taken it to a higher level of intensity. But like I said, this is just the foundation. We're gonna gamify this thing so that my son, who is obsessed with his various games, really feels like it's his. And before we do, I get to do the very satisfying task of removing all this tape. You know what, this is like my favorite bit, so I'll give you guys a close-up. Now, I want this water gun to feel like it would be an item or a gun in any of MJ's favorite games. Now, the candy red foundation definitely sets the tone, but the scope to me really looks like a pipe from the Mario game. So I'm gonna coat that in a nice saturated mid-green to get that feel across. Then I want to break up the visuals of the gun a little bit. I'm going to color in a few of the recessed areas in an ultramarine blue. Now that the gun has the main areas of color division, it's time to really make it pop. And this is where I can turn to paint pens, not only because they're way less messy, but also really easy to get detailed and make those custom additions. Now that I have this really sharp look on my gun, I'm going to tone back some of the pink lines in the middle of this larger red area to give me a bit more of an open area to put some detail on. Starting off with the M from Mario, paired with a J for, well, MJ, as he likes to be called. And with a couple of very simple additions, I'm going to turn this gun into a character. That's right, just like in Super Mario Odyssey, how Mario has Cappy that he throws around. Just by adding some eyes to this inanimate object and some less than friendly teeth over the water container area, we have turned this gun into Gunny. Ah, I love it. It's so ridiculous and perfect for my boy. Now, my little girl has very different aesthetic tastes to my little boy. She is your absolute cliche 6-year-old girl. She loves Barbies and rainbows and mermaids and singing and all that stuff. So I want a gun that at least she will feel reflects her princessy side. I attach a much smaller but ready-made scope from one of the other cheap water guns, and adding some semi-spherical bits here and there as details, and a few baby food caps to the sides of the gun to, well, to soften it out, but also because she's still a little baby. But the most important feature of her gun, of course, is the unicorn horn. However I paint this up has got to be suited to a princess, and painting it up is going to start with the foundation of a glossy white primer base coat, making it as pristine and shiny as my little princess would want. In contrast to my son's gun, I feel like while this is equally epic, my daughter will definitely feel like this speaks to her. The foundation of our unicorn rifle. I wish I could add a sound every time you shot. I'm definitely getting the unicorn vibes I want to get from this, but first, that ever satisfying task of removing the peelies.
Savor the peelies.
So now it's time to bring the very different aesthetic preferences of my daughter's gun to life. And in this one, I'm not going to lean on edge highlighting anywhere near as much, and instead have a lot more fun with patterns throughout. I really like this really nice crisp sheen of white all around the gun. So I'm going to use that as a blank canvas and create a really fun pattern of stars and kittens and cupcakes, and sprinkle them about all over the white areas of the gun, along with, of course, well, sprinkles. Having flooded all the white areas with that pattern really makes it pop. It's so fun, and it's just time to really tie it all together with a few other more bold areas, such as adding lens highlights to the orbs on the sides of the gun and the front lens of the gun, some edge highlights to the pink recessed handle area, and a pop of gold around some rims. And with all of those flares of detail, my much more sparkly and princessy cupcake gun is ready to fire. These guns couldn't be any more aesthetically different, and yet they're so fun and cool and unique and perfect for who I made them for. And were really easy to add that polish and personality to thanks to the customizer kit, which is on sale for the Black Friday weekend. $40 off of this massive pack of awesome creative projects and paint markers for you to get creative with, including everything you need from the gesso to the professional paint markers, to the brushes and varnish, and dozens of awesome activities, and a 40-page guidebook that takes you through a whole bunch of different fun patterns and projects that you or a loved one could complete. It's a perfect holiday season gift. Go check it out, link in the description. Grab one while you can. Don't miss out. But I know what you're thinking, the problem is these are too cute. We need something more badass. Don't worry, I got you covered, because it's time to do my gun next. Now my gun is gonna be a little bit more. In fact, the first thing I want to do to amplify my gun is add another gun. Hopefully will allow me to literally function 2 water guns and obliterate my children. Look, it's only fair, okay? I'm outnumbered. It's 2 onto 1, so it's only fair that my gun is 2 guns. It's logic, it's science. And of course, where their guns were detailed out to represent the things that most embodied them, mine, of course, would do the same for me. And I wanted to make sure that as I approach my children carrying my gun, they see me as the personification of their doom. So I'm going to be attaching bones all around my gun to properly instill the horror that they should feel when Daddy enters the water fight. The random arm bones that I've cut and bent with the hands just haphazardly glued on the ends make it look like one weird phantom-y creature reaching forward and flying through the air at its enemies. Absolutely perfect for what I want my gun to feel like. The other 2 were cool, but I think this one takes the cake. This is absurd! And the functional power of 2 guns. Oh my God, this is absurd, and it will put terror into the hearts of my children when I attack them! But I feel like we can take this even further. Moved on to giving it a misting with chrome spray, giving the whole thing a much more metallic feel and doubling as a bit of a highlight around the gun. And then I set about decorating it with warning signs to make sure anyone who comes against me knows that they're in for trouble. All sorts of various caution and warning, danger signs to give the whole water gun a vibe like it's been pulled straight off of a Ridley Scott film set. And while I'm really happy with how it's decorated and it just feels fantastic, it is way too clean to look like it's come from a Ridley Scott film set, so it's time to grind. With that all set, I go around the whole thing with a few layers of satin varnish just to make sure that my grime doesn't come off when we have our water bath. I love that the water guns I made for my kids are perfect for them, and I feel like this one is a perfect fit for me. Now, while I have 3 finished water guns yet, it's not over because I need to see if they work. I've done a lot to them, so let's see if they still function. Okay, the gamer gun, load it up. Now the bubblegum gun, cupcake. The cupcakeinator!
Cupcake a what? Cupcakeinator!
All right, that's all loaded up. Let's load up the big boy. Oh no, I didn't think that through. It's all right, it's fine. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Well, this one holds a lot of water. That's what I like to see. Let's take it outside for a test. All right, we'll start with a test of our gamer gun. So it works pretty well. The cupcakeinator. Yes! But of course, most importantly, the devastator. Let's see what my secondary gun goes like. Oh, nice! There's only one thing left to do. Teach my kids a lesson. All right, ready? I have a present for you. Dude, what was that question you asked before? You said, is it...
Pink.
You wanted a pink gun?
Yeah.
I'll do you one better. I made you a pink cupcake gun. Ready?
Is there water in it?
There will be. Check this out. Ready? You open it up at the back. Whoop. She's begging for this. All right. Ready? I made you the ultimate gamer gun. You know how there's Cappy? This is Gunny.
Oh.
One for you, 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 one for you. Doesn't start yet because guess what? Your dad's got a gun! Oi! Yeah, I didn't say you could start! Oh, that's it, you're done! You're done!
Let's go!
And so, in a wash of blood and violence, my children learned that they must never face their father head-to-head in any form of combat, for he takes these challenges way too seriously. I was able to overpower them relentlessly with the force of his powerful weapon. Although that said, these things did a pretty good job too. And both of them, though quite aesthetically different, feel pretty damn fun and were a lot of fun to make. I hope you had as much fun as I did, or as we did. The kids had fun too. This was just such a really dumb, fun project. Like I pictured that I could do something cool. I did not picture that the results would end up this wildly different. It was such a blast. So hit that like button if you had a blast with me, and give it a go yourself. The Customizer Kit is still on sale for Black Friday, $40 off, massive discount, and it does all the heavy lifting in some really fun custom projects like this. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, hasta la vista.